This week in Summer Bay, limits are tested, tempers flare, and dangers quietly building in the background. From John facing his own fragility to Tane's future hanging by a thread and Holden's obsession spiraling out of control. Let's break down everything coming up on Home and Away from 2 to 5 March 2026. It's Jock and you're watching Soap Shenanigans. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please hit that button. We have a massive week of spoilers to get through, so let's dive straight in. Monday, 2nd of March 2026. It's been a rough time for poor old John, and this week we see the emotional fallout. After his DIY disaster caused the pipe to burst, John was forced to move in with Justin and Leah. On Monday, John finally comes to terms with something he's been avoiding, that he has limitations. Meanwhile, Remi has been on a difficult road of his own. After undergoing radiation treatment, he hasn't been feeling like himself and has been making some reckless choices. However, on Monday, Remi finally makes a big decision. And then there's Sonny. Losing the ability to walk has understandably changed him. He's been pushing away Dana and snapping at the people who care most about him. After finding out about Remi's tumor, information Eden shared when she organized a day pass for Sonny to stay overnight with her and Cash, something shifts. According to the spoilers, Sonny decides to put Remi's needs before his own, and that's a huge turning point. Tuesday, 3 March 2026. Now let's talk about David. Because is it just me, or is he becoming more and more unlikable by the week? He keeps insisting that he's just doing his job, but we all know this goes deeper, especially when it comes to Joe. His attitude towards Cash, particularly for standing by Tane, is becoming harder to ignore. Cash decides to take leave so he can focus on helping Tane, and it looks like that decision might finally pay off. On Tuesday, Cash's investigation begins to bear some fruit, but whether it's enough to make a real difference remains to be seen. Sonny, after deciding to put Remi first on Monday, doubles down on Tuesday. The concern is that he may go too far, smothering Remi instead of supporting him. The big question is, will this help Remi or just push him away? And on a lighter note, I've seen a lot of discussion online lately about Leah and Justin's storyline. Leah is dreaming big when it comes to renovations, but not everyone seems convinced this is the right time or the right plan. Wednesday, 4th March 2026. Things continue to go from bad to worse for Tane. Whatever Cash uncovered doesn't seem to help, because Tane's hopes for acquittal are suddenly crushed. The walls are closing in and the future looks more uncertain than ever. Elsewhere, Lacey's worst fears are confirmed. Holden hasn't just crossed the line, he's developed an unhealthy obsession with her. The storyline is heading somewhere very dark, very fast, and it feels like a disaster waiting to happen. And yes, David is at it again. He forces Cash to follow strict protocol, which only fuels Cash's frustration. It is no wonder Cash prefers to do things his own way, because if it were up to David, Tane would already be locked away with the key thrown out. Honestly, David might want to spend less time targeting decent men like Tane and more time paying attention to the real danger brewing with Holden. Thursday, March 5th. 2026. Tane's court date draws closer, and as things stand, it's not looking good at all. With the pressure mounting, we know that Tane is set to cross paths with Brax and Ricki soon. That raises a big question. Will Tane consider making a run for it, especially since he likely isn't allowed to leave Summer Bay? It will be interesting to see how Tane's storyline weaves into Brax and Ricki's return. Meanwhile, Holden continues to ignore every warning thrown his way. Marley has warned him, Leah has warned him, and yet the message just doesn't seem to stick. Lacey ends up with an uninvited guest, and let's be honest, all signs point to Holden. He clearly doesn't understand boundaries, and the fear is that someone could get seriously hurt if he doesn't stop soon. Finally, Mackenzie calls in a favour. If I had to make a prediction, I'd say she reaches out to Dean to see if he can help Tane in some way. My guess, Dean either puts Tane in contact with Brax or go straight to Brax himself. That's everything coming up in Home and Away this week. Let me know in the comments, is David completely overstepping, or is he right to stick to the rules? And do you think Tane will face the music or make a desperate escape? If you enjoyed this breakdown, hit like, subscribe to Soap Shenanigans, and I'll see you in the next spoiler drop.